Don't climb this rock this way if you got a spiritual shortcoming. I mean, if you're not really courageous enough or deep within yourself, you can't do it, because this way of climbing the rock has a strong spiritual connection. You have to be guided by someone from this town who prays on your behalf for a successful hiking. So let's go.
So when you arrive here as a visitor or as a tourist, they will offer to pray for you, a kind of blessing to enable you climb the rock and come down successfully. You know, here in Africa, good prayer can come from a priest, imam, a pastor, or even a traditionalist. Yeah, so the prayer will guide you go up there, tour around the rock, explore the top, and come down without sustaining any injury or even falling off from the rock.
Today we are exploring Olumo Rock, one of the 7 wonders of Nigeria, located at Ikija town of Abeokuta in Nigeria. This is 100% natural rock formation that stands at the height of 137 meters above the sea level. It also has a strong spiritual and historical connections with the people of Eba here in Abeokuta in Nigeria.
My name is Joe, and I travel places revealing nature, foods, languages, and others. So please, if you find it interesting watching this type of niche, support me by subscribing to this video here or up here. You can see it. Just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be seeing every video of this nature every week. So let's go.
This garden named Lishabi Garden.
Lishabi
Garden. So Lishabi is one of the great warriors who fought for the liberation of this town. You know, for we Egbas to gain our freedom today. That is why we name ourselves Omo Egba, Omo Lishabi. That means we are the sons and daughters of Lishabi. Lishabi does not bear any child. We are the child because of the roles he plays in the lives of the Egbas, you understand. So that is why we do celebrate him every year. We call it Lishabi Day or Lishabi Festival. Coming up this month, ending of this month.
Okay, ending of this month.
Yes. Right now, we are heading to the next point. We visit the shrine. After the shrine, we move to the cave. If we want to get to the Olumo place, we'll get there. Then we move to the ancient, where we can be able to get to the top of the rock. From there, we can be able to see virtually everywhere in the whole of this town. So join me and enjoy your tour. Have a pleasant trip.
All right, thank you.
Here is the main shrine of the rock. We call it Ojubo Olumo. Orisha.
Olumo.
Yes, Orisha. Olumo chamber. This is where they make sacrifices to the rock every year. And they open this door once in a year. 2 people are allowed to go inside during the festive period. The chief priest of this town, known as Abore, also the paramount ruler, which is the Alake of Egba land. In the whole of Egba, we have 4 kings according to the 4 quarters of the land. We have Alake of Egba land, the paramount ruler. We have Oshinle of Okiono. We have Gbagura of Agura and the Olowo of Owu. Baraki supersede them all. That is why I was allowed to go in there to perform the sacrifice. While the other chiefs, the other king, will stay outside chanting Ashe after his prayer. He prayed for the whole nation, the town, and for those that climb so that they will never fall. And to the glory of God, nobody has ever fallen down. I pray we will not be the victim here today. So we can see those feathers and the bloodstain on the door. People believe in traditions, do come and plead. After some months or some years, when their prayer has been answered, they come back in returns. That is why it's being referred to as Olumo Abelowo, Olumo Abelomo, Abeloro. Abeloro means begging for money. Abeloro means begging for wealth. While Abelomo means begging for children, for those that believes in tradition. During the time of festival, they use big black cow, they use bitter cola, guinea fowl, chicken, water, and gin. That is what they use for the sacrifice. So if we have belief, we can make prayer before we head to the next point.
Let's head on to the next one.
We are moving to the cave now.
So I requested for them to allow me enter through that door covered on white clothes, and they said if I enter there, I may never come out again. So I ran for my life.
According to the custom and traditions of the Yorubas, when a chief died, they buried the chiefs at the back of their house. So he was buried at the back of his house. His name is called Chief Sonny Ositoko. Sonny is the own personal name, while Osi is the title, the person that sat at the left hand side of the king. He died 23rd of January 1956. Then the government took over Olumo as a tourist site in 1976, 20 years after his death. And before he died, he was the one telling the history as what we are doing today. So being an indigene, we derived the story from him.
So this is the tomb of the man he is talking about. He is part of the historical connection of the rock and the Eba people.
And to this place, Egba wartime hideout. We people of this town, we are not really from here. We came from Old Oyo Empire. So Egba were looking for independence under Oyo Empire. They decided to leave Oyo to another environment. Coming from Old Oyo to this environment in 1830, another war come up between Egbas and Dahomey, now Benin Republic. So Egba people kept their wives and their children underneath this rock, while the warriors to go to the top of the rock to monitor the movement of the Dahomey. So seeing them from afar, they lay ambush. That was how they conquered the war for 3 years, 1830 to 1833. Another meaning to Olumo in Yoruba is God. One means to mold, Oluwalomo. That means God molded it for their safety.
Wow.
Yes, Oluwalomo. The rock has been there suspension. They just used it just to protect themselves and to demarcate their rooms. You understand? So after the war, they're now rejoicing that there is no more war. People unaware of where they hide, they're now asking them, you people of this town, where were you during the war? Where have we been for years? They now said we hid ourselves under the rock. Under the rock in Yoruba, it means Abeokuta. So the name of this town, Abeokuta, originated from here. So if you have been anywhere around the town, you have not visited there, you are not in Abeokuta. So right now, you're welcome to original and proper Abeokuta. So if you look at it very well, we can see we are under the rock. Abe is under, while Okuta is rock. Abeokuta.
As humans, most times our fears are just mere imaginations and fake pictures on our head. Our potentials and abilities are just like the mineral resources and the nature. We keep getting to discover them every day. When we got here, my tour guide told me that many visitors and tourists who just visiting here for the first time refuse to go under the rock or even climb through the spiritual route to the top of the rock, which I will show you guys later in this video. Why? Because they are afraid. They've already formed some negative pictures in their head, which gives birth to fear. Alright, so let's visit the people who live under this rock.
Here we have some priestesses here. They are the custodians of all the deities that we have around this place.
Okay.
Also the descendants of those that hid under the rock.
Wow.
They are like 18, 17 generations as they are here. They are like a native doc, like I said. People do come to them for consultations, and they believe on traditions, and they have their own idol that they worship called Orisha Igu. Igu means Lord of longevity. They believe by worshiping this idol, they live long. That's why they hold in age. So the late Olumo died at the age of 137 years of age. That's a picture there, and this is the new installing one now. You can see she's the one sitting down, she's the one lying down there. You understand? And look at this tree here. We call this tree Akoko tree. In the Yoruba land, we don't want to install any chiefs or any king. This is the leaf they normally use to install the person. But this particular one meant for the paramount ruler of this town alone. They don't allow any other chiefs or any other king to come and pluck it. It's only a lucky of this town. It has been there over 200 years. During the rainy season of drying, it doesn't wither, ever green. It doesn't grow more than this. It has been there ever since then.
Over 200 years.
Yes,
wow.
Does not grow more than this. That's a mystery about the tree. So different kind of idols are here that they worship. These are the symbol of those that fought for us during the war.
Yes.
They carved them here in their remembrance. This is now where they were buried, and this is now how they look like. Not that time, nothing like pictures. You understand? Just for us to remember them. That's why we have this. And these are the money they spent in the olden days. Cowries. 50 of these cowries that time is like millions then, but now it's equivalent to 50 kobo now. So the ancient tree to the top of the rock. Before this is how God arranged the steps to get to the summit of the rock. So for the alternative, we have this, and we have the modern step over there.
This is what they call the spiritual route of climbing this rock. And do you know why it is called the spiritual route? Because this rock stood as a big fortress to protect them against their enemies in the olden days. So it was used mainly by the soldiers who fought for the town when they were fighting their wars in the olden days of 18th and 19th century. As I'm climbing, have you noticed that the stones are placed and well arranged in such a way that you step on to the top of the rock? Well, they believe that in the olden days, the gods, that is their deity, arranged it in this way to make it easier for the soldiers to step on and get to the top of the rock, to be able to prepare a battle and protect the community against their enemies in the olden days. And finally, we have made it to the topmost part of the rock. Right now, we are standing at 137 meters above the sea level. Thanks to the chief priest who prayed for us to be able to climb and come down successfully. And also thanks to my tour guide, Tayo, who explained everything bit by bit and in details while on our way to the top of the rock. And that blue building he is pointing, that camera is focusing on, is the oldest Christian church in Nigeria, built and completed in 1878. And finally, I'm back to these elderly women and their descendants living all their lives under this rock to collect African elderly blessings from them. That is the magnificent view of the whole town from the topmost part of the rock. And with this, we have come to the end of the video. Please subscribe for more videos coming up next week. Thanks and bye.